Welcome back to the second part. Now let's add some lines underneath here. So I'm going to minimize that, and right here the first thing I'll do is let me close off my form, and right underneath the form here I'm going to enter HR, and that's the supposed to be horizontal ruler. I'm going to make the size, let's go for about 10. And what about the color? The color, let's say blue, and the width, I'm going to make that about 75%, and close that off. So I'm going to save that, open up my browser, press F5. There we go, that's the first line. So let's add two more. Just going to copy this now, copy, paste, and change this color to red, and the last one here will be gray. There, save, and come right here, F5. There we go. Now that is all done, we are now ready to start with the development of the database holder. But one thing that I notice is these two buttons are not side by side, so let's minimize that. Right here are the buttons. I'm just going to get rid of this, get rid of that, and get rid of this, so they should be side by side. So let's save that again and run it. Come in here, press F5. There we go, they're side by side now, so that's fine. Okay, back in here, I will now start another page. Click on new, and there. So I'm going to call that, let's start by entering the tag, the PHP tag. There. Let me come up here, you see where I have the language. Let's select the language, go for P, and there we go, it's going to be PHP, so that is fine. So the first thing I would like to do is I will like to create a database for my very first input here, which is meant to be the name. Look right there. So I'm going to copy that, come right in here, and I will then enter $, paste that in there, equals $, underscore post, and what do you want me to post? Enter that inside a square bracket and close up the square bracket, enter semicolon. That would be my very first column. So I can even copy this and just change it around. I need about 19 of those. Okay, now the next one here is going to be NHS number, and come right here, change this to the tag will become NHS, and underneath the next one will be surname, followed by, I'm going to go for patients, the patient number, and enter that here. There, just to let you guys know I'm actually following this. So I'm right here now. The next one, the next record will be my date of birth. So I come in here, I can always paste my date of birth there, here and here, there. Come back in here, followed by medical center, copy that and repeat exactly the same thing. So I believe you guys get the whole idea, so I'm going to speed that up now. Okay, those are the details for my columns created. But first thing before I proceed, let me save this and I'm just gonna call it, let's come right here and see, it's going to be known as online booking, but let's look for the directory. My directory is called online booking, so that's it. Save it right inside our very folder. So it's going to be online booking.php, so save there, that is it, it is saved, online booking.php. so let me close off all of this in the way. All right, that's my online booking.php, and that is the registration form created. Now the next thing we want to do is we have to be sure if the user has entered the correct details. So I'm going to use an if statement to validate the entry that we have in here. So let's say if not empty, let's try that again. If not empty, double click on empty, and what are we talking about? That will be the first name. If not empty, first name. Okay, or the other one, if it's not empty as well, that's going to be number. Okay, or I'm going to change those around. So the next one is number. Copy that. If the number is not empty, followed by surname. If it's not empty, and followed by patient number. There. And I'm going to just use if it's not empty for the rest. So let's come right in here, enter all. Just copy this and speed it all up, paste, and let's speed that up. Yeah, those are the columns. So enter, open up a curly braces. Now what we need to now do is to use the following. So I'm going to say $, what is the host. Okay, we need to know the name of the host. The host in this case is going to be my local host. There, that is the host. Now what about the name of this local host? I'm just going to call that database username. So that is going to be the root there. And what about the database password? I'm going to leave the database password blank. Enter $, there. So that is going to be blank. The choice is yours. You can always enter a password. Now that that is done, what about my database name? So we need to make up a name for this very database. So I'm going to enter # here first. Database name equals what? Okay, the name, I'm just going to make that up. I'll call that booking. So that is the name of my database. This database is now created yet for your information. I'm just laying out all of the data that we need. That'll be the last thing we will do. Now that that is created, I will now go to my database itself. So let's come to my PHP my admin here. I'm going to create the database called booking. So let's click on new, this very one here. Click on new. Right, so let's create our database. So that will be called booking. Now that booking is created, as the name of the database, click on create. There, and how many columns. I'm going to enter 19, and the name for this very database will be what? I will call it patient. There. So let's click on go. There we go. All 19 columns are created. There we go. So I now need to enter data in them. You see this very first one, that is going to be ID. So I will leave that to be automatic. Let it get populated automatically. And I will also use it as my primary key. So let's come to where we have primary key. Drop that down. Select primary. Okay. Click on go. And right here where we have AI, that's supposed to be automatic. Okay, auto increase, make sure that is checked. Okay, so that's fine. Now come right here. The next one is going to be first name. First name, I'm going to call that voucher and just make that approximately 150. I think that should do. The next one is going to be NHS number. So for the number here, let's make that about 11. What about the surname? Right, change that to voucher. Okay, so 150 as well. After the surname, it's going to be patient number. Right, and change this. We can leave that as integer. 11 we do there. And date of birth. The data type will be date. Okay, let's go for about 12. Now what else do we need? Medical center. For the medical data, and change that to that. Okay, now that you guys get the whole idea, I'm just going to speed that up and get back to you guys shortly. Okay, that is it, all done, and we just need 2 more. So let's come in right here, click on that. We need 2 more. Postcode, copy that, come right down here, paste postcode, voucher as well, and let's make that 250, 255. And finally we need finish date for the medication. So come in right here, paste that. That's going to be date, and here that will be maybe 12. There, that is it, all done. So all my 18 records plus ID, which is going to be, that's going to be automatic. So it's all added. So all we just need to do now is to click on save. There we go, click on save. There, that's my database created. Now let's go back to our application here, that the database is created. That's every information that we need on the system, all copied from here. There. So now let's come back in here, scroll right down. So we need to be able to create a connection. So let's say we want to connect. Just enter something there that say connect or connection. There. Press enter. So I will first of all declare as follows. That's my variable called connect, and connect equals new MySQL SQLi, and that is going to be what? The first value is the name of the host, comma, second value the username, paste. The third value is going to be the password. and the last value is the database name. Enter that in there, close that, semicolon. Okay, before we proceed, let's validate one thing. Supposing there's an error, so in there I'm going to use an if statement. If MySQL underscore connect has an error, what are we going to do? If we have an error, we want the system to die. Okay, and in there maybe just specify the following: connection error. There. So connection error, let's say dot MySQL connect error, SQLi underscore connect error number, right? Okay, parentheses dot single quotes and close that single quote, dot MySQL error. Just copy this and paste it there. There we go. Close that off, enter semicolon. However, if we don't have any error, we then want the system to do as follows: select equals select. Let's use mail, because email is unique to every individual. I'm going to use email. Select email from my table, and the name of the table is patients. There. Okay, select email from patients where email equals, let's say, limit is going to be 1. Just 1. Enter 1 there. Okay, and there. Okay, the other thing is we need to be able to insert. So let's insert the following: insert equals, and all of those columns. Okay, you can see I've entered question mark here. In total, those question mark are 18, representing each of these columns. Alright, so now the next thing we want to do now is to add our prepared statement. So let me just enter prepare statement equals as follows. There. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to now use an if statement. So let's come in here and say if roll number, let's go for, is equals to 0, then so if roll number equals to 0, let's enter curly braces here. Then we want the following. So the prepare statement should close and the following, okay, should be inserted. So there are 18 of these assumption here, and here are my columns. There we go. Now, okay, no, let's say echo. So we just enter new record added successfully. There. Else, what will happen? So we can say echo as well. Else we can say this email address, so get rid of this, already exist. There. Now close the curly bracket, and we then need to close our statement here. So let's say prepared statement. You can close that. And we can also close our connection link. Alright, close that. There. Else echo all fields are required. Right, and you can just kill the system, and that's it. So I believe I am finished now. So let's see. Okay, let's minimize this, collapse that, and save. So all that we now need to do is just to try out the system. So these are the lines of code that should link the database from the browser to MySQL. So those are the instructions that should carry that out. Now all I'm just going to do is to try it out and see. So let's come right here. That's the database we created. Come in here and just now let's enter some value in here. So the first name, let's say that name is Felix Davis, and date of birth of Davis, let's go for 14/10. Yeah, something like that. Mail, and let's enter his phone number and email address. So I'm going to speed that up. Okay, we've entered data for Felix. So let's see if this works. So I'm going to now click on submit. There we have an error. Okay, let's see unexpected end of file. So I'm going to come back in here. It's not up to that. So let me just clear anything I have in there. I think that might be the error. So let's come in here, save, and go back to our browser and just come back in here and try to add the data. So it's now talking of 79, line 79. Here, right here, look at this. I open up a curly braces and I've left out the curly braces. I believe that is it. So let's go back in here, save, and let's see the browser again. Go back in there, add the details. There we go, it's successful. So let's go straight into my database itself. So it's successful. Let's see if we have Felix details there. Let's come in here, and I'm just going to go to browse, and there we go. Look at that, that's Felix details in there. Look at that, guys. Let's collapse all of this so that you can see that there. And let's add some other details just to verify that it's working as expected. Let's go back in here and reset, and the next information I'm going to enter, that is going to be, let's say, Peter Parker. Okay, let's say Paul, and I'm going to enter Parker there. Paul Parker, he's a good friend of mine. So let's enter 19 and let's go for 08. Yeah, mail. And telephone number of Parker. And let's just speed up the rest. And there guys, those are all the next details. So let me show it to you guys. That is it right here. And now I'm going to click on submit. There. And let's come right here. Refresh, press F5. And let's see. There we go. Those are all the data for Paul Parker on the system. So guys, with that, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed. To my viewer out there who asked for this nice tutorial, I believe I've been able to fulfill what you asked for, and I suppose you enjoyed. And to all my viewers, can you please subscribe, and you can always join to become a member of my channel. Thanks a lot for watching. You all have a nice day, and bye for now.